You're starting the recording.
Yeah.
The recording has started.
Yeah.
Meeting order. The municipality of Oakland-Wawanesa would like to acknowledge and recognize we are in Treaty 1 and Treaty 2 lands, being the original territory of the Anishinaabe and Dakota nations and the homeland of the Métis Nation. With the adoption of the agenda, resolved that the agenda for March 19, 2024 meeting be accepted as presented with the addition of Derek Shearer as delegation and the Clipchamp claim under unfinished business.
That should be under general business, sorry.
Under general business. Okay. Next time, please move that. Councilor Don, second by Councilor Hatch. All in favor? Be it resolved that the minutes of the February 20th, 2024 meeting of council be hereby approved as circulated. Move that, please. Councilor Fisher, seconder. Councilor McGregor, discussion, any errors or omissions? All in favor? Your finance general accounts be resolved at the March 12, 2024 general accounts payable, meeting section number 7128 to 7178 in the amount of $82,487.67 be hereby approved. So we move that. Let's move on. Single account cash. Discussion. All in favor? Be resolved that direct deposit 306 being staff payroll for the period February 19th, March 1st, 2024, in the amount of $18,129.41 be hereby approved. Moved by Councilor Fisher, seconder. Councilor McGregor. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. Be resolved that direct deposit 308 being staff payroll for the period March 4th to March 15th, 2024, in the amount of $13,056.62 be hereby approved. So to move that. Councilor Hatch, seconded by Councilor McDonald. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. Be resolved that direct deposit 307 being council indemnities for the month of February 2024 in the amount of $6,285 be hereby approved. Move that. Councilor McGregor, seconder. Discussion. All in favor? Be resolved that the March 12th, 2024 utility accounts payable being checks number 1132 to 1142 in the amount of $15,895.21 be hereby approved. Moved by Councilor Fisher, seconder. Councilor McDonald, discussion. All in favor? Be resolved that statement of revenue and expenditures report for February 29, 2024 be received as presented. Move that. Councilor McGregor, second. Councilor McDonald, discussion. All in favor? Bank reconciliations be resolved that the bank reconciliation for the month of February 2024 be hereby approved as previously circulated. So we move that. Councilor McGregor, seconder. Councilor Hatch, discussion. All in favor? Okay, delegations. We have Mr. Shearer. Councilor.
Got some handouts here.
Are you sharing? We can share this here.
I don't know if you have to.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, just, I think I've been here once before, so I'm not gonna rehash everything, but I was advised to come to the municipal meeting and stick to the facts so that everything that I have in my Brain is on record, so I will stick to the facts because we get bogged down in the details often, so. The map or the Google map is for reference, so. Fact, a ratepayer in Wawanesa, Oakland constructed driveways across a municipal right of way with no regard for drainage. The right of way used to drain water to the east. As a result of these driveways, an adjacent ratepayer suffered $20,300 in quoted damage and an additional $600 in goods that had to be disposed. This has gone through insurance too. If you want the details on that, I can provide the insurance details. Council voted and passed to have a culvert put in. This did not happen. Solution, the driveways to the east, but leave the grade 18 inches to 36 inches higher than the previous grade. So the only thing that is done is the driveway slope to the east. The municipal right of way no longer runs east because the driveways are higher than the municipal right of way. Water crossing the road at the culvert, if it overflows at the culvert, which is right by the T in the word commercial street, the culvert runs to the drainage ditch runs to the south there. And if it overflows at that 90-degree angle that runs to the east, it comes across the street right between the S and the T. And from there, I don't know if you can tell in your pictures, I tried to do 2 of them. You can kind of see where the ditch used to be. It's a whiter mark there that runs along the frontage. That's the building that used to be there prior to the condos. That's the driveway into the building that used to be there prior to the condos. When Herman used to back, or any of the guys used to back up to that shed, there used to be a dip through the ditch and a raised part, which is where the building was. So the water can no longer flow east if it crosses the street. There has been lots of drainage done to try and alleviate these problems. There's also been lots of stuff done upstream that causes more water to go faster to that, like the pavement. And this is getting into the details, but in front of the bank, there used to be an 8-inch drop and everybody used to drag their bumpers off the bank curb there. Now it's a 4-inch drop. You used to have to jump across 8 feet of water and now it's 2 feet of water. So the water that's on Main Street now is flowing a lot faster to those funnels or whatever you want to call them. And they all go down into this drainage ditch that runs north and south, as does the stuff from the Rusty Bucket and the bar parking lot and the hall parking lot. It all ends up in that drainage ditch. So there is multiple culverts running into one culvert. Math would say that's going to be very hard for that one culvert to take all that water, and the water does come over the top. It has for years. But it in previous years, it was able to run east on the north side of Commercial Street. But with those driveways in there, yes, the driveways are sloped to the east, but they're still 1.5 feet above the grade that used to be. My solution would be, look at what Buddy Graham did. His culvert is not right in the, what you would call the ditch, like right by the road. It's set off in 12 feet. It still allows the water to run. No one told Buddy Graham he had to put drainage in. That's the most recent building similar to the condos. And yet he's got a culvert in his driveway. I'm not sure why. I've heard some of the details as to why we don't have culverts in these driveways. But again, that's details. And at this point, the insurance covered $12,000 of the $21,000. I have $9,000 that I'm paying. It doesn't seem right. So the facts are, someone put driveways in municipal right away. And in my mind now, the municipality is obligated to do something about it. As in tell the ratepayer they have to fix those driveways. Because if this happened rurally, in any rural ditch, if someone put in an approach blocking a municipal right of way and that water ran onto the adjacent property and onto another adjacent property and caused damage, it would be fixed immediately. Because you can't do that. You can't block a municipal right of way. And by those maps, does anybody have any questions? The water runs across at the T in Commercial Street if it overflows. It'll overflow anywhere along there if that ditch fills up on the south side. The only place, if it overflows and happens to hit those driveways now, it has a chance to run east. If it overflows on the west side of the driveways, it's going north. And then private individuals drainage has to handle the municipal water flow, which isn't the design of anything. There was a municipal right of way there that used to flow east. That's all I got. Any questions?
Councilors?
Gary, how did the clean out of the south ditch do to push the water east this year?
All we had was snow melt so far.
Yeah, but
It,
how
it,
did that handle?
it looked like it was, yeah, it ran down the east side of Mill Street a lot better than it used to, but the east side of Mill Street, yeah, has a lot more drainage. So it makes the river. It's hard to tell. It's backing up and running west past Dennis Gullets now because I think it's frozen underneath and the ditch in front of Dennis's is trying to run west. So I think it's doing its job, I hope. The problem with, I do think all that is going to help. It doesn't alleviate the fact that someone plugged a municipal right of way. If water crosses that road, it used to get in that waterway and run east. Right away and run east. It can't do that anymore because it's way above grade. And to say it's not a designed waterway, why, if it's not a designed waterway, why is there a ditch on the side of Mill Street that runs north? It's a designed waterway. Every ditch is a designed waterway. It's not a designed waterway past Buddy Graham's because Simpson decided to put in a culvert. Matt Johnson has a culvert. If Buddy Graham says, I'm not putting in a culvert, what happens to that water? And then those two guys are in trouble. We don't have to guess whether I'm in trouble. I have $21,000 in damage in quotes. The insurance paid $12,000. Not my insurance because overland flooding insurance, the deductible is $25,000. So it was the adjacent ratepayers insurance, liability insurance that paid. There's only one reason an adjacent ratepayers liability insurance pays is if they're at fault with no lawyer or anything else. So if there's no further questions, that's all I have. But I do feel it's the obligation of the municipality now. And if water comes into the shed again, MPI doesn't cover anything in the building. So I have to remove everything out of the building to do my due diligence or mitigate risk. And the stuff in that building has to go into another building. I'll have to rent space somewhere, something.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, sorry, go quick.
After our last conversation, I went into the property and I'm not following what you think is going to happen here, Derek. Like, you know, I think 1.5 feet is probably.
Yeah, you need a transit. I don't know how much higher it is than it used to be.
Yeah, so to put a swale in, let's call it 1.5 feet. That's a 1.5 feet. Like that's not a swale. Right?
Well, I think if you look at and this map is maybe better because I was able to print it when my ink still worked. But in this map, you can see that there's a white line about 12 feet in or 10 feet in. So the swale idea maybe isn't the right way to do it, but this line right here, it lines up with, you can pass that around. The line definitely starts right here.
Yeah.
So maybe it's more like what Buddy Graham did, where there's a culvert 12 feet or 10 feet in. Because the swale right beside the road might not do it, like, but the municipal right of way is how many feet wide? I don't know. 10, 12.
I don't know. The other issue I see with the neighboring property is that the lowest point is up against that building, and I don't know if that's a change. There's been some keeping down there too, I know, but
Yeah,
based on what I see right now, there's no way that water was running here. It was running at that.
well, I think at that line, it was running there 12 feet in. Like if we stand at the road and look, no, how could it? We're higher at the road. But if you back up inside the property, it used to run there, 10 feet inside. Still in the municipal right of way, but, and again, that's all details. It used to run east. There's a line there in the Google Maps. It definitely used to run east. I don't know how we prove that now.
On that property though, it didn't. And that's, we
But-
know that because that property owner has been here many times complaining that water is going into a shed, even before this.
Yeah, and
So-
a certain percentage ran, I don't know what ran east and what ran north and what ran into his property. Some of the water definitely ran east because it used to run down the west side of Mill Street. And the only way it ran down the west side of Mill Street was coming from the east on the front, on that frontage. And I'm not gonna say that 100% or 90%, I don't know what percent ran east, but some of it ran east and now none of it runs east. We have to give the ability for some of it to run east. It can't all be directed north. And by putting those driveways in, 100% of that water that comes across at the culvert has to run north. It can't go east, 0%.
I'm just, what my question is, or my comment is that I'm not sure it's actually that different from what we had before here, because we know that most of that property was, or most of that neighboring property, the water was running north. Maybe some was running east.
Well,
Based on the complaints we had, I think it was very little, if any.
but we're just assuming that, like, the
But-
fact of the matter is, and we're getting into details now, a municipal right of way that used to run east was plugged with driveways. That's period. That's the end of the story. And it used to run water, some water east. Even if it was 2% of the water that ran east, it doesn't matter to me. Council has to do something to mitigate my risk.
Yeah, but what we haven't commented on is there has been changes on the other side. of the
Yeah, but if it comes across and any water comes into my shed, it's as a result of this.
I'm struggling to understand, Derek, what your ask is of council, like,
To put it back to grade.
and what do we do with those driveways?
That's not my problem.
So I don't think that's a viable solution.
But I've got $21,000 in damage. That's not a viable solution.
Yeah, but just remember the damage that.
Dave, are you speaking as the head of council?
I just wanted to mention this, all those units are under construction went between the two buildings, is that not right?
No, it went on the west side of the building too,
Well,
because I have pictures
the
to show
dirt that
that.
went down through your
The
land.
dirt some went between, but some went on the west side.
I want to make sure that was under construction, it's different than what it is now.
But the stuff that went down the west side is clearly still gonna go down the west side.
Oh, sure.
As far as culverts, this municipality, I would hope we use the same criteria with culverts and driveways as we do rurally with culverts and approaches. That is really the culverts and the approaches are the responsibility of the developer or the landowner.
I would think so.
Well, they are, like, that's part of our policy. So I think council fell short on this one, or however that was done, there should have been an allowance for the developer, the owner of the property to put in culverts. At least that part of mitigation would have been covered. And that probably should be,
If there was drainage put in there and this problem still existed, then I 100% agree with you. But the fact that there's no drainage, when the water came across, I have pictures that it came down the west side, it ran a garden hose all the way down the west side and down the ditch. Water definitely came down the west side. That part of the culvert or that part of the driveway hasn't changed. It was under construction. It's still the same, exactly the same.
But there have been changes in behind.
There 100%, there have been changes in behind. But the problem is, it doesn't change the fact that the municipal right of way was plugged with driveways. I'm saying right now, if it was back to grade with a culvert or a swale or whatever, it was a culvert voted in the first time. You guys passed it through a culvert and then it was taken out. So clearly, at one point, whatever number of councilors voted for it, thought the culvert was a good idea.
Well, I think at that point, and I'll just mention this, is that those water lines on there, water and the sewer lines are very shallow.
So move them 12 feet in, move the culvert 12 feet in so they're not over top of the municipal water lines.
Just tell you why they decided not to do it at that time. I wasn't involved with it at all, if you recall.
So are the water lines right close to the road?
They're in quite a little bit of ways.
Drew says, yeah. That's what Drew says.
So I'm gonna say about 8-10 feet in from the road.
Yeah, 6 to 8 or something.
So is there not lots of space to put a culvert in, not over top of the municipal water lines?
I don't know.
I mean,
But
we might be able to find a different alternative with a smaller pipe through there. You know, I would have to talk to Drew and see, exactly where they are, right? Like, he's the one that knows everything with the waterways in town. But there's other options. You don't need to put in a giant culvert. But I do feel like the work that we did across the street is helping quite a bit.
But that would be like saying rurally, somebody put a ditch across or an approach over here with no drainage. We're gonna fix the other side of the road. Hopefully it is.
No,
never solved.
I understand exactly what you're saying.
Like-
And it's not that that doesn't happen early too, because I do. it all
Yeah,
the time.
but I mean, those driveways should have never been put in without drainage. Never in a million years. That's the fact. And as a result, I'm not here worried about something that could happen. I'm here presenting something that already has, and it's cost me $9,000. Does that make any sense to anyone?
Have you, thought about digging out more of a ditch between the hill and your shop there?
Oh, so it should cost me more.
No, I'm not saying that they should cost you. I'm just saying, have you explored that option?
A ditch
Maybe that would
between-
be,
What
you know,
do you mean?
like on the south side of your shed,
we're getting,
just so that water would flow more towards the street. And I'm not saying that that should be something that.
But then that's still
I think that's
municipal
just getting
water.
away from what Mr. Shearer is saying, so.
Yes. Something needs to be done. It's the obligation of the municipality to fix what should have been done properly to start with. You can't plug a municipal right away that used to run water. I don't know whether it was 10% of the water, 20% of the water. If that's opened up and there's still a problem at the adjacent property to the west, well, then he's gonna have to put a berm. But if he puts a berm like this to keep water in the municipal right away, it's not going east the way it is now.
Thank you. Full council roll, please.
So Derek, are you, just for clarity, are you looking for compensation from the municipality or from the developer for your out of pocket?
I'm not looking for any compensation. I'm gonna have to take it on the chin and accept the insurance companies first. And but this is to stop future, because the only thing that can happen now, if water comes across to that culvert, it has to stay on ratepayer land and can be contained in, and then you guys have no control over the ratepayer land. Like, there was a berm put in there by a contractor that gave advice to the property owner, and then the property owners didn't follow any of that advice, and now it doesn't drain east. That berm was a beautiful berm, beautifully sloped east. They were told to have, I told the building committee, you should have erosion matting or sod on there. And I can read off the text. Would you like me to read the text, Dave? Oh, okay. So the water can't flow east anymore because at each one of the downspouts, the dirt ran down and there's a hump at each one of the downspouts. That the contractor had perfectly contoured flowing east, and now there's a hump at each one of the downspouts. I think the contractor believed that someone was gonna come in and landscape the back and make it all nice with sod. There was 3 people there, 2 with rakes and 1 with a spin spreader. Yeah, I guess it's under definition of landscaping, it was landscaped. But that water can't flow east anymore. The only thing that the downspouts are gonna do now is saturate the berm and the poor guy's property behind it. But you guys have no control over the ratepayers, the same as I could do anything on my lot and you can't advise on that. So the only option that water, if it crosses, and yes, a lots has been done on the other side, but that was not a once in a lifetime rain event that washed that out. Like, we've had lots of those rain events since I've owned the shed in 2011. In fact, 2011 was the year it flooded, and I had no problems like that. We can't direct water onto that can't be the plan B. Keep it on the ratepayers' land. The municipal right of way is there for a reason. It used to run a percentage of the water to the east. Now it runs 0% of the water to the east because it can't. It's above grade. It needs to go back to grade or some solution. And to me, it doesn't matter what you guys come up with, but it's got to be some solution because the solution that came out last time was culverts, a culvert in half the driveway. So in my mind, we were halfway there. Like we got halfway. Now we just got to figure out a swale or something on the other half. That was all scrapped. Does it matter to me if the water lines freeze? Other than I don't want that to happen, but financially, does it matter to me? No. Financially, I'm sitting $9,000 in the hole right now, and I'm not asking for compensation. I don't expect anything. I'm just taking it on the chin and call it one of life's lessons that we truly have no common sense left in this world. I don't know why Buddy Graham put in a culvert. Did he ever talk to you guys? That's the closest thing to it. He moved it 12 feet off. Somebody must have advised him.
I can speak.
Yeah.
So if council will recall, your direction to me had been to get a legal opinion and get a drainage bylaw done. So the request has been made. I was hoping that I would have the bylaw for the February council meeting. I followed up with the solicitor. It wasn't prepared yet. He had someone working on it. I still haven't received it. At the time that drainage bylaw comes forward, it's anticipated that council will review it, obviously, if you're passing it. And with that bylaw in mind, as development officer, I'll be preparing a report to council as to, in accordance with the bylaw, kind of where we stand. And realizing that a bylaw is not retroactive, probably still looking at however the bylaw is worded to see how there could be possibly some mitigation done in this regard.
So it only helps people going forward, really.
But I'll try to make it retroactive, yeah.
So this one just gets to,
No, what I said was I'll be preparing a report suggesting mitigation, even though the bylaw is intended for moving forward.
and does that make the council, would there be mitigation on this?
Well, we'll have to wait and see what.
Let me see what the bylaw comes up with and let me see what.
You should have lots of input, Dave, on this one.
We'll have laws. Yeah, this is a council thing. So.
Yeah, but you're the one doing all the talking.
Well, I think this council, very Councilor Rowan did some questions.
Correct. You probably should have stepped out of the room like that.
No.
No? Okay.
Now you're talking municipal lands. I'm here listening to municipal lands. You brought up water coming from downtown all the way through.
But then you brought up the part about under construction.
No, all I did for that, when you talked about your damage, I said that was during construction where it went down. I saw the dirt pile, took pictures of that, and that's why it was put through insurance on liability. So that's. So
Do you mind if I read something?
I think it's probably better to move on.
Okay. Oh, because that's a lot different answer than what I've got in here, Dave. From you.
Well,
Interesting. It speaks to your character. That's good. Thanks.
Be it resolved that the presentation by Derek Sure related to damage be received. Will you please move that? Mr. Rome, second, Councilor Fisher. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we'll go to communications.
Right, under communications, there are several from the Association of Manitoba Municipalities. They are dated February 15th, the 16th, the 22nd, March 1st, 2 that are March 4th, March 5th, March 7th, March 8th, and 3 that were March 11th. The Environment and Climate Change provided information on the Central Assiniboine Watershed District. Federation of Canadian Municipalities provided communiques dated February the 20th, the 26th, March 4th, March 6th, 7th, 8th, and 11th. Manitoba Agricultural Services Corporation provided information on the 2023 farmland school tax rebate deadline. Manitoba Emergency Services College provided information that their fire inspector level 1 course is being delayed. Manitoba Good Roads Association provided information on their annual general meeting, their awards banquet, and their road stabilization course. Municipal World Daily provided information on February 21st and 28th. The Office of the Fire Commissioner provided information on their Mary Beth Dolan Meritorious Fire Service Award. And Prairie Mountain Health provided information on their kidney disease awareness.
Okay, be it resolved that the above noted communications be received. Somebody move that. Councilor Donald, seconder. Councilor McGregor, discussion. All in favor? Okay, committee reports. Councilor Fisher, you have written report. Anything to add?
Nothing to add.
Mr. Jones is away. Councilor Hatch, you have written report. Anything to
I've
add?
written and I've just, to add, I've just responded to all people in regards to roads.
Okay. Councilor Rome, you have a written report. Anything to add?
Nothing to add.
Councilor Donald, you have a written report. Anything to add?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if I could, I just wanted to give a little update. We had a handy van meeting just in 2023. Our ridership was just about 3,100 people, so it was pretty good. Our two 15-passenger vans, the one that was in Glenboro will not pass safety. They told us you're going to safety, it's probably the last. It's got mechanical issues and rust, and it will not, that's not cost effective to get it going, and they could not do it in time. The van that was in Wawanesa, which we're sharing between the two, is again a 15-passenger. We took it for a safety. It runs out the end of March, and it will not pass. The same thing, rust issues and mechanical issues. So it's going to be out of service by the end of March. So that gives us, our only van will be our Dodge minivan with the wheelchair ramp up the back that we're going to share between the two. So as a board, we got a hold of some of the handy van suppliers, and nobody has one we could rent in the interim. Our two new vans are ordered and they're supposed to be here possibly by the end of July. They're looking at if they could speed one up, but they don't think so. So we're gonna try to even rent a bus from somebody, 15-passenger bus or some equivalent. So at least we'd have that option. We won't have a wheelchair, but we can possibly do it. So I'll keep everybody updated, but that's on with that. So thank you.
Councilor McGregor, you have written report. Anything to add?
Nothing to add.
Our report is there. Nothing to add to it. CEO's report.
Nothing to add.
Finance officer, anything to add to your report?
Nothing to add.
Public works, you have a report there. Anything to add?
Nothing to add.
Report. Okay. It resolved that the verbal and written reports be received. So we move that. Councilor Fisher, seconder. Councilor Hatch. All in favor? Okay, be it resolved that the report from the Personnel and Policy Committee of its meeting held February 29th, 2024 be received and proposed resolution be dealt with under the order of general business. So move that, please. Councilor McGregor, seconder. Councilor McDonald, discussion. All in favor? Okay. In general business, we have our donations for 2024. Be it resolved that grants to community organizations, the amount of $7,500 be approved as per following list, subject to the final budget approvals. We move that. Mr. McGregor, seconder. Councilor McDonald, discussion. Did you
If
have?
I could,
Sure.
just to make note that items 15, 16, and 17 were additions last year out of your unallocated amount. From those, we've moved those amounts over for 2024 with the exception of the Assiniboine River Basin Initiative. I wasn't sure if that was a one-time when they requested that 250. So right now I'm showing it as a 0. If that continues to be an ongoing, there is still money in the unallocated that could be done with a council resolution. And the items that fall below those in the next two tables, those are ones that have line items in the budget. There is an increase for the cemeteries in accordance with what council's direction was when they were doing budget considerations. And the all goes up as a result of the special levy, so it goes up by the 2%. And those are all included in the budget, assuming that it is passed as presented.
All in favor? Okay, be it resolved that the proposed fiber path for the north side of Road 41 North, located in North 26,717 and North 25,717 WPM, as outlined on the map attached to correspondence dated February 16, 2024 from RF Now, be approved subject to the terms and conditions of this installation agreement dated October 26, 2023. Somebody to move that? Councilor Finger, seconder. Councilor Fisher, discussion. All in favor? Be it resolved that the proposed fiber path for the north side of Road 41 North, located in southeast 12819 WPM, as outlined on the map attached to correspondence dated March 1st, 2023 from RF Now, be approved subject to the terms and conditions of the installation agreement dated October 26, 2023. Somebody move that? Councilor McDonald, second Councilor Hatch. Discussion? All in favor? Okay, so whereas the province of Manitoba is committed to continued investment into sewer infrastructure, which includes an annual budget, work budget currently proposed at $24 million. And whereas effective April 1st, 2024, funding for eligible projects under the municipal water and sewer program is at a single tier of 50%, and the rural water development program funding will increase from 1/3 to 2/3 of the Water Services Board grant funding. And whereas to initiate the board's capital planning process for the 2025-2035 year capital plan, Manitoba Water Services is requesting assistance in identifying new water and sewer projects that each municipality is considering in the next 2 to 5 years, starting in 2025. And whereas it is important that municipalities and cooperatives continue to submit project requests, not just for the potential funding approval under the board's capital plan, but also to ensure the province understands Manitoba's water and sewer infrastructure needs regardless of the scale of the project, small or very large. And whereas the deadline for identifying and submitting projects is April 30th, 2024. And whereas council has previously identified the Commercial Street water line replacement and upgrade, Water Street relining 1 block and Park Street relining 1 block as priority projects. Now therefore be it resolved that the administration be directed to submit the required application to the Water Services Board for the following prioritized projects, whereby if approved, the municipal portion is to be included in for consideration by the debenture. Let's do that, please. Councilor McDonald, second Councilor Hatch. Discussion. We have priorities 1, 2, and 3 that we had before with these projects. Anybody see a need to change that?
Mr. Chairman, what is the priority?
I think we had I think just as they're listed, aren't they?
Sorry, what was the question?
What's the priority one?
We had the Commercial Street water line replacement as the first.
Okay.
And then the other two were kind of
So Water
same.
Street relining is 2.
And Park Street really.
Let's change it. All in favor?
I should ask, was there anything council wanted to add as priorities? No.
Okay, all in favor? Be it resolved that the seasonal operator position be advertised as a permanent position to include utility maintenance and mechanical work, whereby the funds for the additional period of time shall come from the reduction in the utility transmission and distribution and equipment repair lines items. So we move that. Councilor Hatch, second. Councilor McDonald, discussion.
Do you want to be finished? Do you need to?
You start, and if there's anything you need to add. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, so this is a recommendation coming forward from Personnel and Policy Committee. The idea being that the seasonal operator position, typically seasonal positions are viewed as less desirable for job candidates. So we feel like this is an opportunity to make a seasonal job into a permanent job without any financial impact, and as long as we can find somebody that has capability on the water and sewer repairs. So we spend a lot of money on water and sewer repairs that we feel like we can save to offset the increase in salary. So
And if I could, the only additional piece is that somebody with some mechanical ability would also be able to do some of the minor repairs on the heavy equipment.
Right.
And with the water and sewer, noting the fact that this is the year that we take over ownership of the backhoe that was previously used for utility maintenance.
All in favor? Carried. Be resolved that in light of the vacancy in the front office, a job description be developed for the council services and communications officer position, whereby the increase in full salary will be offset by a reduction in the amount being allocated to the general reserve during the financial plan public hearing process. Will you please move that? Councilor Don, seconder. Councilor Fisher. This again is coming from the Personnel and Policy Committee.
sure, I can speak to this again. So yeah, I think if council recalls in December, there was direction given to the Personnel and Policy Committee to start working on the succession planning. We're expecting to have retirements upcoming over the next few years. So council gave direction to start working on the process of replacing. So when this vacancy came up, it felt like an opportunity to start that succession planning process. So Joni's created this job description to sort of start somebody on a path that might allow them to fill a future position. Of course, with no guarantee, there would be a search at that time, but this is the Personnel and Policies recommendation as far as succession planning goes.
Any questions? All in favor? Okay, be resolved that that's right. Be it resolved that the correspondence from Michael Knipping related to a claim for trailer damage to be received, and Mr. Knipping be advised the municipality does not pay for damages to vehicles traveling public roads. Please move that. Councilor McClung, seconder. Councilor McGregor, discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I don't feel this claim is more of an insurance claim as opposed as a council issue.
Anybody else? Councilor McClung?
Mr. Chairman, I just kind of relate this to driving down in any of our cities now or our streets and our communities and hitting a pothole. It's, you're to drive to the condition of the road, and if you that's what our insurance is for.
That's right.
The thing from the account that I got and the pictures that were sent to me, just to put some perspective on it, it was a large rock that came out of our road that did the damage. It wasn't. It was just an unfortunate situation, but it was, yeah, I don't think it should have been a situation where a vehicle was pulling a large, and I'm talking a rock like this, of the road that did damage to his equipment. So it's not a normal pothole rut type situation.
I'd like to speak to this. I truly believe it is an insurance claim through MPIC. I know, and I hate to bring this up, Derek, but one of your family members, and I'm not saying who, hit a large rock right by my place that was dropped off a truck and basically destroyed their SUV or van. And I don't remember the highway paying, it was an MPIC claim. And just like, it's amazing what a welder will do to fix a jack on a trailer hitch, so. And I don't see how we can be faulted just for having public roads, so. But that's my personal opinion, so.
All right, all in favor? Opposed? Be resolved that this regular meeting now adjourns to an in-camera meeting to discuss matters as per subsection 150(3)(b)(3), 4, and 5 of the Municipal Act. And all matters discussed in camera are confidential until discussed in an open meeting as per section 83(1)(d) of the Municipal Act. Let me move that, please. Councilman Long, seconder. Councilman McGregor, all in favor? Okay. Be resolved that the same camera meeting is now resumed back to the regular meeting. Councilor Fisher, second Councilor Hatch, all in favor? Okay, so we have, be resolved that the old iPad still holding charge be offered for sale to staff at a price of $50, following which the remainder will be offered in surplus equipment and if not sold, be donated. Please move that. Councilor Hatch, seconder. Councilor Fisher, all in favor? Well, it's exactly the same way. Be resolved that the legal advice be obtained on the process to release the plaintiffs from their non-disclosure agreement in the 2016 lawsuit filed against the municipality for harassment, whereby the documents and information from the lawsuit be made public. Please do that. Mr. Fisher, seconder. Councilor McGregor, all in favor? Okay. Be resolved, this meeting is now adjourned. Meet again on April 16, 2024 at 9 a.m. in the municipal office in Wawanesa. Please move it. Councilor McDonald, second Councilor Hatch, all in favor?